What's up, everybody? It is Broken Havoc here on the Broken Havoc podcast, here to review SmackDown from August 13th, 2021, coming to us from Tulsa, Oklahoma. Overall thoughts on this show: I thought the first hour of the show was pretty good, in my opinion. Later on in the show, I thought I kind of went a little bit downhill. Not only that, the second hour was kind of up until the end, of course, where we had the contract signing with Sasha Banks and Bianca Belair. We also had the face-off with John Cena and Roman Reigns because they are going to be wrestling in the main event of SummerSlam next Saturday on the WWE Network, or on Peacock, I should say. But speaking of SummerSlam, the Broken Havoc podcast is going live. I'm just going to remind you guys, the Broken Havoc podcast is going live, and I will be live immediately after SummerSlam goes off the air. So be on the lookout for that live stream. Also, Sunday, September 5th, 2021, I will be live right after AEW's All Out pay-per-view, coming to us from the Now Arena in Chicago, Illinois. Both of these shows are going to be extremely huge. I'm really excited to see what goes down. It's going to be awesome to see what happens. This is the first time the Broken Havoc podcast is going to be going live on YouTube, so be on the lookout for those live streams. And yeah, those are the live streams. I just wanted to let you guys know and kind of remind you guys, because I've been stating it for every video now, because next Saturday is SummerSlam, so I'm going to be going live right after the show. And so be on the lookout for those live streams. But back to SmackDown. The show starts off with John Cena and Roman Reigns. Of course, they faced off. And a lot of criticism that I've heard, and I tend to agree with a lot, is they're not really building much intrigue when it comes to the feud with John Cena and Roman Reigns. I mean, last week there was there was mention of John Cena, but like Roman Reigns was more focused on what was happening with Finn Balor rather than what was going on with the feud with John Cena. Yes, he was still in the feud with John Cena, but it was more focused on Finn Balor last week. Now, again, I still believe that Finn Balor is the one to dethrone Roman Reigns, and I do wholeheartedly believe that. You just have to book him extremely strong for the rest of the year. And if you book Finn Balor strong for the rest of the year, then you can, have him win the Rumble and eventually have him lead to WrestleMania. But I don't think that's going to happen, mainly because of the fact that most likely, and this is definitely a most likely, The Rock will be facing Roman Reigns at next year's WrestleMania. I would have booked that match for the Royal Rumble. I would have had that match announced maybe right at SummerSlam, and then, have that build to the Royal Rumble. Meanwhile, you will book Finn Balor extremely strong and then have him go win the Rumble and then eventually face Roman at Mania. But this is a scenario where you have to book Balor strong, and I haven't seen that lately. So, if anything, he was kind of the innocent bystander in this whole freaking feud. But, yeah, John Cena kicks off SmackDown, says school is back up in session, and he can give Roman his report card. Roman gets a D. A D for a D-bag, and also a disappointment. For 10 years, the WWE has been selling Roman Reigns. Roman Reigns is basically a failure, and says that he will give Roman an F at SummerSlam. And he asks Tulsa a question: do you think Roman will beat the hell out of him at SummerSlam? And then we get a little bit of a mixed reaction from the crowd. Later on, Cena says that Roman Reigns will beat the hell out of him at SummerSlam, but Roman will lose at SummerSlam. Then, after that, what happens? The head of the table comes out with his counsel, Paul Heyman. Roman Reigns comes out. Then we got the shit talking starting to happen. Because you guys know, once Roman Reigns and John Cena are in the same ring, they will just go straight at each other verbally. I mean, we've seen that on the build for their match at No Mercy back in 2017. And I will say, John Cena, just absolutely buried him verbally. Because Roman Reigns, at the time when they were pushing Roman Reigns as a babyface, they were really trying to push him so hard, but Roman Reigns was still not the best in his promos. But once he turned heel, I feel he's gotten better with his promos when he was still a babyface, but he's gotten much better with his promos once he was a heel. So, I was really excited for this. We went to break, and then once we got back from break, then we got the shit talking. Cena says that he's not going to waste his time, but he's waiting 1 week to embarrass Roman Reigns at SummerSlam. Cena says that's all he needs. Another thing, a lot of stuff happened in this segment. A lot of stuff, just went down. One of the things that Roman Reigns said in this freaking segment, 20 years of missionary might not have been good for you, but it wasn't good enough for Nikki Bella. Damn, that was insane. I mean, I went like extremely apeshit when Roman Reigns said that line. I was like, yo, this guy went deep. But then, the shit talking continues to begin, like continues to heat up, and then says that basically he's the only one that can shut him up. Says that it's either going to be Team Cena or Team Roman. Roman says that he was going to see something new, but of course, as we've seen in the past couple weeks, Roman didn't see something new. He saw the same old John Cena. So Cena says that he is here to help him and that he is good enough to beat, Roman after that says that he is good enough to beat the WWE champion, but not the Universal champion, and then got a huge pop. Then, of course, says the missionary line. And then, John Cena said one line, which I will say I kind of, was shocked to hear. But he was basically saying that, he ruined Seth Rollins and he ran Dean Ambrose out of WWE. And the crowd was just like, they went ballistic because they could not fathom hearing John Cena, of all people, name drop Dean Ambrose. Of course, Dean Ambrose is Jon Moxley in AEW right now, but that is crazy. I mean, he name dropped Dean Ambrose like $1 million. Like, he name dropped him, and I will say, I was like, oh shit. But yeah, then later on, he goes on, a whole promo tirade on Roman Reigns. He says, I will beat him. I will beat you 1, 2, 3. Kiss it goodbye and jump over the barricade with the Universal Championship. Of course, a little nod to CM Punk. Now, it's so funny how WWE's starting to mention CM Punk. They have been posting CM Punk matches on their YouTube channel, but they know damn well CM Punk is signing with AEW. And the fact that John Cena said that line too, with, he will win the Universal title, he will kiss it goodbye and jump over the barricade. It's a little nod to what happened at Money in the Bank way back in 2011 when CM Punk won the WWE title against John Cena and basically kissed it goodbye and ran through the crowd, which was a crazy match and a crazy moment. Definitely one of the greatest moments in modern WWE history, in my opinion. But, I mean, what are my thoughts on this promo battle, I should say, with Roman Reigns and John Cena? Yes, I'm happy that they did something like this because it stirs up the whole feud with John Cena and Roman Reigns. Regardless, John Cena is losing this match. There is no chance in hell, no pun intended, there's no chance in hell that John Cena is going to win this match because Roman Reigns is right now, he's doing the best work of his career and he's extremely unstoppable right now. Nobody is on the level of a Roman Reigns besides a John Cena. Not even Big E. And yes, Big E does have the Money in the Bank contract, but let's be straight up. Big E, I don't think he's going to cash in on Roman. Yes, he did teased it, but I mean, I'm going to be honest, he's not going to cash in on Roman. I do believe that eventually he will be drafted because WWE, the draft is coming up, I believe. Originally, I think it was supposed to be after SummerSlam, but I think it got pushed back to October, which I don't know why. But I think the draft is happening in October. Correct me if I'm wrong in the comment section. But once the draft happens, one of the guys that will be drafted to Raw is Big E, and I do think that Big E will be the one to cash in on Bobby Lashley because it makes, for me, it's much better than Roman Reigns because, don't get me wrong, Big E will have a really good match against Roman Reigns, but I don't think Big E, is the way that they have booking Big E. They have been booking him with matches against the Apollo Crews for like the past month. What have they been doing to build up Big E besides before giving him the Money in the Bank contract? I do believe he's much better going on Raw and actually cashing in on Bobby Lashley rather than Roman Reigns. I'd focus a lot on Finn Balor because I do believe Finn Balor is the guy to beat Roman Reigns because they do have a history with one another. Finn Balor did beat Roman Reigns clean, if you guys don't remember, on that first episode of Raw after the 2016 draft. Roman Reigns and Finn Balor on his first night on Raw, it was on his birthday as well, on Finn Balor's birthday. Finn Balor beat Roman Reigns clean, and he can play out the story like that. Now, granted, they did wrestle later on, and Roman Reigns did win those, I believe, but I feel like nobody even remembers those matches because WWE is known to do freaking rematches, and everybody remembers the first match, and I do believe that, they can play off the story with that, but, when it comes to Finn Balor, I think if you book him strong, not only that, book Big E strong. Maybe they're not going to, maybe they are looking extremely high on Big E. Maybe he can cash in on Roman. Who knows? And if he does cash in on Roman, what's going to happen then? we do not know what's going on with this scenario after John Cena loses to Roman Reigns. What is Roman Reigns going to be doing after SummerSlam? That is the question that we are all talking about. But we got our first matchup of the evening. We got Apollo Crews versus Shinsuke Nakamura, or I should say King Nakamura, for the IC title. Of course, Rick Boogs comes out shredding his electric guitar, and Pat McAfee on commentary just marks the fuck out. Pat McAfee, dude, if you want to distinct yourself from Raw, I mean, yes, I know SmackDown and Raw booking-wise are the same, but like I feel like Pat McAfee creates a little bit of a distinction when it comes to the commentary team on SmackDown rather than Raw, because on Raw, the commentary team is garbage on Raw. I'm going to be straight up. Corey Graves is holding that commentary team, but on SmackDown, Michael Cole and Pat McAfee create a really good duo, in my opinion. I really enjoy Pat McAfee and Michael Cole, and Michael Cole is starting to grow on me. I mean, like, I've been listening to Michael Cole for like 10 years now. Like, Michael Cole has been WWE forever, and a lot of people give Michael Cole some shit because, you know, the lines that he says a lot are just blown out of proportion, and like just are the lines that he says are just repeated all the time. And I do agree with that. Like, and still, even to this day, they give him lines that a lot of people don't want Michael Cole to hear, like "vintage move" by Dominic Mysterio, like stuff like that. I keep hearing the freaking word "vintage move" by Michael Cole so many freaking times on commentary, it's sickening. But I mean, I will say Michael Cole has started to. I'm starting to get a liking of Michael Cole when it comes to him being with Pat McAfee on commentary, because Pat McAfee really gives a certain amount of enthusiasm to the commentary desk, and I feel like Pat McAfee is just great at what he does. But the match starts. This match was really good, by the way. I really enjoyed this match. Now, granted, these guys were feuding for like how many months now, and when it comes to WWE booking, they're really bad at doing stuff like this. But the match starts. We get a kick by Crews, a suplex by Crews. We get a cover and a kick out. Nakamura with the kick. Works on Crews into the corner. Continues to work on Crews. Both are on the top. We get a headbutt by Crews. Then Crews is on the top. Rick Boogs is shredding the guitar with the distraction. But what happens? The referee sees it and gets kicked out. Same thing as Commander Aziz. So both Rick Boogs and Commander Aziz get kicked out. So now this is a legitimate one-on-one match. After that, once we're back from commercial break, we get a cover by Nakamura. We get a near fall. Nakamura goes to the top, but then Crews hits a drop kick on Nakamura. Crews also goes to the top, then hits a superplex. Then we get a cover and a near fall. Nakamura fights back. Crews then fights back. He hits 2 powerbombs, and I mean, Crews hits 2 powerbombs on Shinsuke Nakamura. After that, we get a cover and a near fall. Crews goes to the top. He misses a frog splash when Nakamura gets the knees up. So that being Apollo Crews, he goes to the top and tries to go for the frog splash, but Nakamura got the knees up. Then what happens is that Nakamura tries to go for the Kinshasa, but then Crews counters and hits a step up enziguri. My bad, I stopped. I kind of missed off my notes right there. Messed up my notes, my bad. We get a cover and a near fall. We get a German suplex by Crews after that. We get a cover and a near fall. Nakamura with an arm drag. Then we get a kick by Nakamura. He picks up Crews. Then Nakamura hits a driver. We get a cover and a near fall. Then Nakamura hits a suplex. After that, Nakamura sets up the Kinshasa. What happens? He hits the freaking Kinshasa. Cover. Nakamura is your new Intercontinental Champion. Great match. I really enjoyed this match. When it comes to WWE televised matches, some of the matches, even on Raw, are not bad. It's just the problem is the booking, because they're constant rematches all the freaking time. But this match in particular was really good. Shinsuke Nakamura is great at what he does. Apollo Crews he's a tremendous athlete. He's really awesome at what he does as well. He's a tremendous wrestler. Both guys absolutely killed it. I really enjoyed this match. Awesome to see. I'm glad Shinsuke Nakamura is the IC champion now. It's going to be awesome to see. Do I think he's going to do anything? They're going to do anything with Nakamura? Probably not, but hey, at least he's the IC champion. So it's so crazy that Nakamura was the NXT champion when he was in NXT, yes, Nakamura did have title matches. He wrestled against AJ Styles at WrestleMania 34, but let's be honest, Shinsuke Nakamura won mid-card titles rather than main event titles, which sucks because Nakamura is awesome. The Street Profits are backstage. Ford talks about the attack of Otis and Gable, says that he is not concerned. He's excited, and Dawkins says that he is his brother, and they got the smoke. Street Profits are awesome. Montez Ford, and you guys heard me say this on previous SmackDown reviews, Montez Ford is amazing at what he does. He's really good. Montez Ford is balls to the wall. He's awesome. But yeah, after that, we got the Street Profits versus the Alpha Academy. These guys have been feuding for how many weeks now? What is the point of this match? There's no reason for this match whatsoever. The match starts. I'm going to just go through a couple notes on the match. I didn't really take a lot of notes on the match because I didn't care for it. I did not care for it at all. Gable tags in. We get a drop kick by Ford. Knees and kicks by Montez Ford. Then we get a tag by Angelo Dawkins. But out of nowhere, Otis slams Ford. Dawkins works on Otis, but Otis hits a follow-away slam. Gable tags in, works on Dawkins into the corner. Otis tags in, does the same. Then Gable tags in again. Otis tags in, and then goes after Dawkins. Gable tags in. Gable pushes Otis. Ford takes out Otis on the outside by jumping over the top rope, which, again, Montez Ford is a tremendous athlete. And I say that all the time, I know. But, like, Montez Ford, the way he wrestles is just perfection. Like, the guy is really good. But then Dawkins hits a pump up corkscrew and then wins the match. What are my thoughts on this match? I did not care about this match. The Street Profits are awesome, but let's be honest. Do you really care about this match? I know I don't, because of the fact that they've been feuding for a while now. So let's be honest, what is the point of this whole match? Really, there's no point at all. We get a segment with Seth Rollins. Says Tulsa has been on fire tonight. Says that he hates to play the role of a party pooper. And says that Edge will not be here tonight. And says that he is disappointed. He wants to put his fist in his face for all the lies he spread about him last week. According to Edge, they got the next best thing. Edge Light. And says that is the most narcissistic thing that he has ever heard. Says that he's a Hall of Famer, and he can't stand the fact that his career is, that being Seth Rollins, his career is a little bit better than Edge's. Then after that, he puts a little video package talking about a little bit of a biased career retrospective of Seth Rollins and Edge, and talks about how Seth Rollins is much better than Edge. So after that video package plays, says that we want Edge chance, and says that the video footage does not lie. Says that he was watching and had a little bit of a revelation that Edge should be thanking him. Not just Edge, all the fans should be thanking him. If he had stopped Edge, he wouldn't deal with this. All of the moments that happened with Edge would have not happened. And says that he would have had his comeback. And says that he would push his little girls on the swing set, but then instead, if he had actually curve stomped Edge, then what would happen is basically they would have pushed him in a wheelchair. So then after that, instead, he's making him a person that he does not want him to be. He is compromising his future and the future of his family. Goes to the camera, and it's not 2014 anymore. Times have changed. Says that he will not hesitate. He will not hold back, and he will stomp his head to the mat. Says that if it isn't that good, then so be it. What are my thoughts on this segment? I thought this was a really good segment with Seth Rollins, and my apologies if I kind of butchered that and you saw somebody in the background. My apologies for that. But overall thoughts on this segment. This was a really good segment. Seth Rollins cut a really good promo on Edge, and my bad if I mumbled a little bit. My notes were kind of off because I have to go quick when I take notes on this show. But of course, Seth Rollins is taking things to a personal level when it comes to this. I like that they're adding a little bit of elements from, they're taking it back to when, Seth Rollins was about to curve stomp Edge, and, he talks about how he didn't do it. Then, of course, Rollins takes it to a personal level, says that, he's not going to push his girls on the swing anymore. Instead, the girls are going to push Edge in a freaking wheelchair, which is crazy, man. The fact that Seth Rollins would go that far. These are one of the matches that I'm really excited for, because Seth Rollins, say what you want about Seth Rollins, especially on social media, but Seth Rollins really, he's one of the best in-ring performers in the world, in my opinion. He's really good. Edge, Hall of Famer, of course. He's amazing at what he does. Awesome. But this promo by Seth Rollins, I was not really that big of a fan of this gimmick of Seth Rollins, but, from this was not that bad at all, in my opinion. It was a really good segment. We got Rey and Dominic backstage, talking about the losses, and, they need to be focused. Dominic is acting, we got their number, blah, blah, blah. But then Rey's like, no, we got to focus on this match. So we got Dominic and Rey Mysterio versus the Dirty Dogs, as Pat McAfee would say, Ziggler and Rude. The match starts, works on Rey in the corner. We get a kick by Rey. Rey hits a Hurricane Rana. Rude then hits a backbreaker. Rude sends Rey into the corner again. Ziggler tags in. We get a splash in the corner by Ziggler. Then we get an atomic drop by Rey Mysterio. We get a cover and a near fall. Then Ziggler hits a headlock. Rude tags in. We get a kick by Rude. Then Ziggler tags in. Rey's in the top. Then we get a headbutt by Rey. Rey then hits a senton. Dominic tags in. He hits a crossbody. Then Ziggler then hits the neck breaker. Then proceeds to take out Rude. But then we get a roll up by Dominic. And then we get a near fall. Ziggler then hits the Famouser. Then we get a cover and a near fall. Then we get an Enziguri by Dominic. The Usos on the Titantron are on the Titantron to distract Dominic. And then Rey in the background's like, pay attention. And then after that, Rude tags in. He takes out Rey, but then we get a roll up by Dominic, and Rey and Dominic win the match. Overall thoughts on this match? I thought this was a pretty good match. Not that bad. I just hate the fact that we've seen this match many times on SmackDown a couple months ago. So why are you booking it again? I like the fact that the Usos were on the Titantron and stuff. It's going to be an awesome match. We've seen their match at the kickoff at Money in the Bank, and I'm really excited to see what happens here. Then what happens? In the words of Pat McAfee, broke-ass Baron Corbin comes out, says that if things don't work out, he files for Chapter 11 bankruptcy. Aw, poor Corbin. Says this is the last time he's publicly going to ask for help, and asks the crowd for a minimum. Yes, a minimum of $1,000. $1,000, bro. Who asks for $1,000? Like, seriously, who asks for $1,000? I know this is a work, but, like, come on now. Who asks for $1,000? Kevin Owens, after that, comes out, says that he is not there to help him, says that this needs to stop. Then he says that he needs to stop embarrassing himself. He's trying to use people's sympathy for their advantage. Then Corbin says that he is not leaving this ring until Owens gives him $1,000. Then Owens replies, if he beats him in a match, then Corbin gets that $1,000. But if he loses, this whole thing where you're begging for money stops. Then Corbin was about to call him a cheap piece of shit, but then gets stunned by Owens. We go to break, and then once we're back from commercial break, the match starts. So we got Kevin Owens versus Baron Corbin. This match, I don't know why it is going on, but hey, whatever. This match starts. I mean, this was not a bad match. I mean, I pretty much enjoyed this match, but I mean, it's not that bad of a match. We get a roll up by Corbin. Owens fights back. Owens with a couple chops. Owens is about to suplex, but Corbin counters into a roll up. We get a near fall. Owens with a clothesline, then hits a senton. We get a cover and a near fall. Or a kick out, I should say, because it was at 1. Then takes Corbin to the turnbuckle. We get a couple chops by Owens. After that, Owens hits a super kick. Then Owens hits a cannonball. We get a cover and a near fall. Owens goes to the top rope and then gets caught by Corbin. Then we get right hand by Owens. Owens runs into a right hand by Corbin but lands on the outside. Owens gets back in the ring. We get repeated rights by Corbin. We get a cover and a kick out at 1. Corbin argues with the referee after that. What happens is we get a couple chops by Owens. Corbin fights back. Corbin and Owens are on the apron. He's about to suplex Owens on the apron, but Owens fights back. He tries to powerbomb Corbin on the apron, but Corbin drops Owens up and over the apron. So Owens lands on the apron after that. Once we're back from commercial break, Owens is on the top. Owens with a right. He goes to the top. He tries to go for a superplex. Owens fights back. Corbin gets taken out. Owens with a swanton bomb from the top rope. We get a cover and a near fall. Then he hits a kick. Then Corbin hits a choke slam. We get a cover and a near fall. Owens fights back. Corbin hits the deep 6. After that, we get a cover and a near fall. Then after that, we get a cover again and a near fall. Desperately, Baron Corbin's trying to do all these pin attempts, and we get another cover, and then we get another kick out. Then Corbin slides under. Corbin catches Owens with a kick, but sends him into the corner. Then we get a cover and a near fall. Corbin blocks a stunner after that. We get a roll up by Owens then after that and wins the match. Owens wins the match, and what happens? Owens hits a stunner on broke-ass Baron Corbin. What are my thoughts on this segment? Or this match, I should say. I mean, this wasn't necessary. They're doing this thing on Raw now with Baron Corbin. I'm starting to enjoy it. I thought at first this was kind of lame and stupid, and I still think it's stupid. But, I mean, I don't know, man. Like, whatever. It's WWE for you. It was starting to get a little bit entertaining for me, I will say. And Kevin Owens, he entertains me all the time, so it's great to see. This match was not a bad match, but this match didn't need to happen. I'm just going to be 100% honest. Then, once we're back from commercial break, Corbin gets a backstage interview, and he gets asked, "What now?" Corbin replies with no answer, and what happens? He runs into Big E and steals the Money in the Bank briefcase and runs off. So Big E, for now, does not have the Money in the Bank briefcase. What are they going to be doing in regards to this? I don't know. I don't think Baron Corbin is going to be cashing in on Roman Reigns anytime freaking soon. Y'all think so? Hell no. You think so? I don't think so. But this, why is he I mean, yes, I know he's broke-ass Baron Corbin, but, like, come on now, really? You're going to take the Money in the Bank briefcase, but whatever. Big E's getting it back regardless. But now we got the contract signing with Sasha Banks and Bianca Belair. Sonya Deville is in the ring, of course. And Belair, they both come out. Sasha Banks and Belair go after each other verbally. Belair asks Sasha if she is ready. And then she says she is still petty and jealous. And she should have known. All she needed to do was ask to get the title shot. Sasha tells Bianca that to get real, bitch, and then both start arguing. And then what happens is, let's be honest, that's what happens. They both start arguing like crazy. And then after that, Sonya Deville just separates them and just like, everybody, stop. Then Sasha Banks, before she signs this, she says she's going to need some witnesses. What happens? Carmella and Zelina Vega come out. Sasha says that she is 2 steps ahead of her. Both sign the contract. Then Bianca throws the contract at Sasha, goes after Carmella and Zelina, takes out both on the outside, takes both outside, my bad. And then what happens is that Sasha hits the backstabber, and then Carmella and Zelina go after Bianca. Sasha takes Bianca on top of the table. Then we get a kick by Sasha and drives Bianca headfirst repeatedly on top of the table in the middle of the ring. Then what happens? Sasha stands tall with the SmackDown Women's title in her hand and then applies the bank statement on Bianca violently. And then she uses the braid. So she applies the bank statement using the braid on Bianca Belair, and the show ends. What are my thoughts on this segment? I thought this was a pretty good contract signing. This is your typical WWE contract signing. Let's be honest. They always do this all the time. If you watch WWE, you know how contract signings end up. Let's be 100% honest here. But this was not bad. I really enjoyed it. I think Bianca and Sasha Banks are going to kill it at SummerSlam. They're going to have a really good match. I've seen their match at WrestleMania because I was there live. It was an awesome match to see. I'm really excited to see what happens in this match. But overall thoughts on this whole SmackDown show, I thought the first hour was much better than the second hour, in my opinion. The first hour, because it had the John Cena and Roman Reigns confrontation, which I enjoyed. I know a lot of people liked more their confrontation on Raw a couple years ago, but I thoroughly enjoyed this. This was not a bad segment at all. We also had the IC title match with Shinsuke Nakamura and Apollo Crews, which was a really good match, by the way, as well. We had the tag team match with the Mysterios and Rude and Ziggler, which didn't need to happen at all. And then we had Baron Corbin versus Kevin Owens. But, the second hour kind of fell flat on itself. But then this contract signing business picked up with, as Jim Ross would say, with this contract signing. But yeah, that was my SmackDown review. Please like, subscribe, comment down below, push that bell for notifications. Follow me on social media on Instagram and Twitter. Also, be on the lookout for my Rampage reviews, which is already uploaded on the channel, and also my other reviews. And also, be on the lookout for my live stream next Saturday, because I'm going to be going live right after SummerSlam. It's going to be my first live stream. The first time the Broken Havoc podcast is going to be going live on YouTube. So be on the lookout for that. And subscribe to the channel for more content. And this is Broken Havoc from the Broken Havoc podcast, signing out.